Hey, what's up, everyone? I figured I'd get a chance to talk about one of the reviews that was highly anticipated that I figured many people would be interested in hearing about is the Mary Poppins Returns, which is the long-awaited sequel to the Mary Poppins movie from 1964. And what makes it interesting that, this is like the longest gap in history for a sequel, making it 54 years. And of course, um, Emily Blunt takes over the role of Mary Poppins, who, of course, as many people know, was played by Julie Andrews in the '64 film. And a little interesting tidbit about the Mary Poppins Return that Julie Andrews was offered a cameo role in the film, but she turned it down, feeling that her presence would have been, distracting towards, you know, Emily Blunt playing the Mary Poppins character. And even though it would have been nice to include her in some kind of role, but Dick Van Dyke, who played Bert in the '64 movie, does have a role in the movie. So anyway, the events of Mary Poppins Returns takes place about 30 years, later in the year 1935, during the Great Depression in London, which now deals with the grown-up versions of Michael and Jane, in which, Michael's been going through economic hardships since the passing of his wife and has three children and has been trouble, paying off his house, which has been under, I guess, repossession from the bank, and he's trying to find some shares that his late father left him as a way of paying off his debt. And of course, as in the case of Mary Poppins, she tends to come back when she is needed, as the case in this particular, film. And I guess throughout the movie, she tries to help Michael kind of, I guess, rediscover his, I guess his sense of self and I guess childhood, if that's one way of looking at it. And I will say, Emily Blunt actually does a pretty decent job, in the role, and she has, Mary Poppins sass and sarcasm, a little bit of snarkiness as well. But the only downside I would say is that she doesn't have Julie Andrews' singing ability, which is to be expected since no one could top, the wonderful Julie Andrews. But Emily Blunt surprisingly does a pretty good job, playing the, Mary, Poppins character. And of course, there's also new characters, including Lin Miranda, who plays Jack, who's related to Bert, which the role that Dick Van Dyke played in the '64 movie. And of course, you have Angela Lansbury, who plays a character by the name of the Balloon Lady, which is a character, not in the '64 movie, but in the Mary Poppins novels themselves. And of course, there's also, some pretty cool singing and dancing and, homages to the '64, film. And surprisingly, it's actually a pretty, worthy sequel to the '64 movie. And I'm really glad, Rob Marshall, who directed this film, and of course, was a big, he said he was a big fan of the Mary Poppins movie, wisely decided not to, do a remake since it would have, tarnished, that movie. And of course, like many times, remakes don't always tend to work very well. So doing, a sequel instead was the wiser choice. So I would say for those, that are fans of the Mary Poppins '64 movie, myself included, and I would imagine many others out there, I would definitely, recommend it to see the continuing ventures of Mary Poppins and stuff. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching.